Dr. Zamani Saul, the Premier of Northern Cape, says in 2020 we suffered from two pandemics, GBV pandemic and also the COVID pandemic. He says today, as we are standing here, the enemies of the ANC are suffering from a new kind of pandemic that he calls loss of memory pandemic. He said this during the Sopa of Northern Cape, State of Province address. Wow, a very interesting State of Province address. He brought the Tintswalo to the people and showed it to the people. He said, Cyril Ramaphosa was speaking about this Tintswalo. Northern Cape has also a Tintswalo. Well, they went even an extra mile to make a video from successful businesses here, some of which I know personally, of which I'm going to keep my comment to myself. But let's quickly watch that video and get into this thing of the Sopa of Northern Cape. It's gonna be interesting.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
And I run a clothing manufacturing company where we design clothing for women for all events. My business was established in 2012, but officially started running in 2013 during the Matrician season.
I'm Spanky, tribal culture. I'm a street food and Afro cuisine specialist. I've been running the Afro Bistro and Bistro Brother concept for the past 5 years.
My name is Caution, selling the Zamani, EAU service provider in King.
Hello, welcome. This is Ego. Welcome to Batsui Luxury Guest House. Our humble abode has been established since 2016, so we'll be turning 8 years old this year.
Hi, my name is Tamsin. I'm the owner of Tamsin's Beauty Lounge, where we house different beauticians under one roof, offering different beauty services in one stop.
The previous Sopa has contributed immensely to my business because it has given me the opportunity to design for a few MECs and also the previous guests that were attending the Sopa. Normally the Sopa comes around the time where business is quite slow. There are not a lot of clients coming in. But with the Sopa coming in, people do come in to design because everyone wants to look good for the Sopa.
There's a lot of mentions about local businesses during the Sopa. So that also improves business and improves our sales.
It's becoming back to Kimberley. We welcome those in Bruce, guest houses and hotels.
Sopa has contributed to our businesses in many ways, where people have come in to do various treatments, whether it's been makeup, nails, lashes, or getting a massage.
I'm excited to hear what's going to be said in this Sopa because I would like to find out what plans the Premier has for us as mentees and how he's going to contribute to making us grow. For instance, for myself, I'm looking at starting a youth development program where I'm going to teach young people how to design so that they can also create their own jobs.
One should always be excited to get the message of the direction where government is actually heading into, or the direction in which government is heading into.
I'm super excited to hear what will be happening at this year's Sopa, especially in regards to hospitality.
I'm definitely looking forward to this year's speech, especially in regards to the beauty industry. It would be amazing if the unemployed youth were given the opportunity to get learnerships and start a career in the beauty industry.
We are Northern Cape.
A modern, growing
And successful province.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Says So. I am your host, King053, Mr. Easy Imali, and we're back at it again with another one. This time around, we come to my province, the province where I reside, Northern Cape, the biggest province in South Africa, and people don't know how big the Northern Cape is. Another interesting fact that I will give you about Northern Cape, Kimberley specifically, is the first city in South Africa to have electricity. Let's just put that one out there. So, again, another interesting fact about Northern Cape that maybe most of you don't know is that in Northern Cape you can drive a distance of 1,600 kilometers in one province. You can imagine what is 1,600. Most of you will drive from, what is 1,600 is from Pretoria to Cape Town. Pretoria to Cape Town, I think it's less than that actually. But the province of Northern Cape is so big. We can start so many cities in this province. Land is galore here. The premier of our province is a gentleman named Dr. Zamani Saul. I have had a privilege to meet him, work with him in some instances, and as a government employee, I'm obviously then employed by him. He's actually my boss. So I hope he doesn't watch this. I hope they don't watch this. Dr. Zamani Saul has given us an interesting sopa, speaking about that pandemic that people are suffering from. People are forgetting the progress that the ANC has done in our province. Let's quickly listen to what he said.
Thank you very much, Speaker of the National Assembly. Let me also greet the chairperson of the NCOP, His Excellency, the President of South Africa, and the Deputy President. Let me greet ministers and deputy ministers. I saw some of my colleagues who are here, premiers of provinces, honorable members of the National Assembly and NCOP, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last lap of the sixth administration, but not the end of incumbency of the governing party. In 2020, the country and the world was struck by the COVID-19 pandemic. That same year, our Honorable President Ramaphosa likened gender-based violence and femicide to a second pandemic confronting our country. Now, today, in this House, we are struck by a third pandemic called loss of memory. In Afrikaans, hulle noem dit as geheueverlies. The loss of memory pandemic is due to deliberate misremembering and distortions of the South African development journey. The character, Tintswalo, that the President spoke about serves to remind us of the comprehensive interventions by government. The life of Tintswalo represents the cumulative impact of government policy interventions. This is a real-life story of many young South Africans. To be a graduate today in South Africa is no longer an exclusive preserve of the rich and affording households. Today I have, as our special guest, our own Tintswalo from the Northern Cape province. We've got Eugene Makates, there he is. It's our own Tintswalo from the Northern Cape. A first graduate in his family, very dynamic, upfront, and unapologetic young man. He was born in 1993, is from a female-headed household. As a result, was a beneficiary of the Child Support Grant. Was raised in an RDP house, attended a no-fee Pescodia High School that provided him with 2 free meals a day. He received a bursary from the Premier's office and NSFAS and completed his Bachelor in Education at Saul University. and now is a teacher at the same high school he attended, and is also pursuing his honors degree. There's thousands of young people with similar accounts in the Northern Cape. The ones with loss of memory will not even recognize them.
So there you hear it. A very interesting way to open a Sopa. Dr. Zamani Saul, to me, the way you see him here, that's how he's always. He comes across arrogant, but that's his character. He does not shy away from speaking his mind. This is the future leaders of the ANC, potentially future presidents of the ANC, the caliber of Dr. Zamani Saul, obviously with the doctorate under his name, very educated man, and also he loves his politics. So one thing I said about the Tintswalo that Cyril Ramaphosa spoke about, I said I wish Cyril Ramaphosa would have brought Tintswalo to the State of the Nation address and said, listen, we have invited a small girl here by the name of Tintswalo, and she's sitting here, blah, blah, blah. There she is, she did this. This is how she benefited from the ANC. I said that. And, it looks like they're watching my videos, because that's exactly what Dr. Zamani Saul did. He brought in a young man by the name of Eugene, you've heard there, born in 1993. This young man obviously has grown up in a single parent home, and got fed from the feeding schemes at school, and he's a very successful story. I mean, we cannot deny that. We can't take anything away from this specific man. What the ANC don't particularly understand is that there isn't enough of these stories. If we were to bring the counter story of someone born in 1993 who could not go to school, who did not get the RDP house, we know the queue and the waiting time of the RDP. If we had to take out those stories and people who could not go to varsity, who did not get the bursaries, there is a lot of these people compared to these people. You understand? And I have said in the past that they need to bring more light into how they're going to transform these numbers to be bigger so that they can challenge the numbers of the have-nots. Because the haves, they are very few. And I think you guys can agree with me on that. And for Eugene to go and teach, and again, I hope it is 100% proof, because I did not verify this news, but I'm just trusting that the premier is not talking nonsense, because I can actually get this Eugene and interview him. It will be an interesting interview. So for Eugene to go and teach at a school where he was once taught, it's a fairy tale story. It's a beautiful story, and I have to give them this one. I have to give them, but I'll give it to them by saying there isn't enough of these stories. So on the second clip, I want to speak about how he spoke about healthcare, the improvement of the education system, and all of that. Let's listen to what Dr. Zamani Saul said.
In 2019, the provincial government articulated a vision to build a modern, growing, and successful province. We remain committed to ensuring that we realize each of the three pillars of this vision, particularly focusing on health and education. The victims of false memory pandemic know very well that in 1995, the Human Development Index of South Africa was a mere 0.66, and now it's 0.727, which represents high Human Development Index. This is as a result of increased access to better quality public education, increased access to healthcare, and increase in the income of poor households. The Northern Cape is now one of the 6 provinces in the country with an HDI above 0.70, which is a clear indication of improvement in human development. The percentage of persons aged 20 years and older with no schooling in the Northern Cape declined from 22.7% in 1996 to 6.7% in 2022. This means that we have exponentially increased access to education with a total learner enrollment exceeding for the first time 300,000 in 554 schools this year. Over the past 3 years, our grade 12 results cumulatively recorded 10% increase from 66% in 2020 to 76% in 2023. Madam Speaker, we have improved access to provision of healthcare services in the Northern Cape. Life expectancy in the province increased for both males and females. Males saw an increase from 51 to 58 years, and females saw an increase from 55 to 64 years. The infant mortality rate has decreased to 16.1% per 1,000 live births. This is way below the SDG 3.2, which aims to achieve below 25 per 1,000 live births by 2030. The improvements in healthcare provision to our people can be largely attributed to increased access to the 189 healthcare facilities across the province. Madam Speaker, we agree with the President that infrastructure development is a flywheel for growth. Our unprecedented spending on public infrastructure, which includes new hospitals, new clinics, new schools, new libraries, new roads, and human settlements since 2019 to date, stands at 14.8 billion rand. Despite the energy and logistics structural constraints, the economy of the Northern Cape is on a positive growth trajectory. In 2019, the GDP per region was standing at 94 billion and now stands at over 134 billion, just 4 years in a row.
Again, Ash, with Sopas, it's very difficult to debate numbers, and I don't want to be a person that debates numbers because numbers don't lie if they are accurate. So if what Dr. Zamani Saul is saying is true, it looks like the Northern Cape has been improving. I've told you my personal experience with going to a public hospital here in Kimberley, the biggest hospital, I believe, in the Northern Cape, KH, and how we got bad service, me and my queen. But I've had some people who went to the ICU ward and they got perfect services. So it depends on which day you fetch these people. I went there and there was people that were stabbed standing in the queue with knives on their back. And you've gone there and some people got excellent services. You know how government hospitals are. So I don't want to debate too much on that. And also the African-speaking schools, especially in Amarkwaland, because of Afrikaans is predominantly the spoken language there. So many people, some people, not many people, are saying they want to learn at least in English and not in Afrikaans, and they did not find joy with that, especially in Namakwaland. So he also speaks about the improvement of the matric rate from 66 in 2020 to 70 in 2023. That's an improvement. We can't argue with improvements. An improvement is improvement. Unfortunately, we cannot then say. And I think the quality of the pass is also bachelor entrance and all of that. I think that improved. He also says life expectancy has improved. People live longer in the Northern Cape. I'm not gonna comment. I don't know. I'm just saying. Northern Cape is not that bad well, now I can't say Northern Cape. Let me say Kimberley, because I stay in Kimberley. And I'm from KwaMhlanga, Mpumalanga, KwaNdebele. That's where I was born and raised. I moved here, I think, towards the end of my high school career in the late 2007, 8, 9. So, comparing KwaMhlanga to Kimberley, I'm going to be biased because, staying in town, you don't get the experience of people staying in the location, Kasi. Because when I drive into Kasi, that's where I gym, that's where I do most of my community work and stuff like that. The sewage, the potholes, the state of the houses, the crime, everything, you find it there. Here we find it, yes, but there's always a private security car driving around, cameras everywhere. And so it's not that bad in Kimberley, at least not for me. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to lick ass or anything like that, but Kimberley is not that bad. I mean, you guys, you hardly see Kimberley on the headlines for crazy things. You hardly see Kimberley, Northern Cape, for crazy things. You'll get things like someone, I think there was a teacher in Northern Cape, that side of JTG district, that impregnated, I think, 20-something girls in one school. Yeah, you'll get things like that, but you won't get like assassinations. Well, we do have some, but not like other provinces, because our population is so little, like 1-point-something million people, or is it 2 million, somewhere there. But yeah, let's quickly listen to what he says about the improvement in the Saul municipality, especially our university turning 10 years. Wow, 10 years. That's very interesting. I like the fact that I think Northern Cape was the last province to get a university. I think all the other provinces got universities before the Northern Cape. We are the last. I don't know why we were the last, when Northern Cape has the first city in South Africa, which is Kimberley. But 10 years. It was 10 years ago. You remember the 9 wasted years? Jacob Zuma is the one that built. It was under his administration that the university was built. I remember, because I was running a home cell, if you know what a home cell is, with the varsity, the first year students. But now they are all men and women married. They are big now. They are old now. So let's quickly listen to Dr. Zamani Saul. I hope you guys will get something from this Sopa address.
During the second quarter of 2020, 255,000 people were employed in the province, and now when we wake up tomorrow morning, there's 333,000 people that will be going to work. This number exceeds the pre-COVID figures of employment, with unemployment now standing at 26.3%. I heard my colleague from the Western Cape saying that Western Cape has got the lowest unemployment rate. But we should not be ahistorical about that. Even when the ANC was in power here, the Western Cape had the lowest unemployment in the country. So if we are ahistoric about it, we will continue to throw these figures and decontextualize them. The implementation of the catalytic projects, such as Special Economic Zone, Buchuberg's Bayport, the Green Hydrogen Project, and the Katu Industrial Park will permanently change the socio-economic landscape of the province and increase job opportunities. The major contributing factor to unemployment in the Northern Cape is the low skills base. During March, in collaboration with Mersita, we will launch the Skills Development and Bursary Program amounting to 210 million rand, benefiting more than 2,000 young people. Since 2019, our partnership with SITAS has benefited 14,800 young people in the province. Through the Premier's Bursary Fund, we have already assisted 530 deserving young people from the province that pursue studies in scarce skills areas and had written off 154 million in their outstanding debt. The Saul University just had its 10th anniversary celebration and is a significant landmark in Kimberley with a student population of more than 5,200. The university is also a draw card for skills development in the province. I think it was 2 years back, Honorable Speaker, I was listening to one of the members from the opposition benches saying that the Saul University is not more than a decorated high school. We took that as an insult in the Northern Cape. And I would invite that member just to go and witness the kind of development that is taking place in building that university. And today it's a significant landmark in Kimberley. Madam Speaker, the provincial government has a very progressive procurement regime. The total spent on goods and services over the past 4 years amounts to 26 billion rand. Of the 26 billion rand, 5 billion was spent on women and women-owned suppliers. 1.5 billion rand was spent on young people. 51 million, which we need to improve on, was spent on people living with disabilities. The total spent on black-owned suppliers amount to 15 billion rand, which is 58% of our procurement. An amount of 14 billion rand was spent on small businesses because we appreciate the role that small businesses play in ensuring that we've got vibrancy and dynamism in the provincial economy. Honorable Speaker, His Excellency President Ramaphosa initiated the annual Presidential Investment Conference to realize 1.2 trillion investment over a period of 5 years. 70 billion rand of this investment was made in the Northern Cape in energy and mining. Some of these major investments were Vedanta, PMG, Orion, Unigreen, Scatec, and Aqua. Now we are at the forefront of driving investment in green hydrogen, and we have launched a green hydrogen master plan. Madam Speaker, we committed ourselves to sound financial management. We have significantly improved our audit outcomes and cut unnecessary wastages. We continue to render support to our municipalities for sound financial management and accountability.
Honorable Premier,
the support initiatives
time is up.
includes, amongst others, Operation Clean Audit. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, honorable member. I thank you.